What's up, Eagles fans? Welcome into the Eagle Eye in the Sky. I'm your host, Fran Duffy, and today we are going to take a look at some of the big plays, the most pivotal moments from the Eagles in their loss in Week 6 against the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to start on the offensive side of the football, where to me, one of the bigger takeaways or one of the biggest sparks for this offense on Sunday was Jalen Hurts and his performance. Obviously, only a handful of snaps, but with what he did late in the second quarter and also in the third quarter, I thought really helped kind of get things going for the Eagles offense, helped them get into a groove. They've been incredibly efficient when he's been on the field this year. Remember, we've seen him as a thrower, as a catcher, as a runner, as a decoy. He was used in all those ways and more on Sunday. I thought we saw some more good things out of the Jalen Hurts package here with the Eagles offense on Sunday against Baltimore. Here you see him. This is his first snap. He's in the shotgun next to Miles Sanders. This is going to be a zone read play where you're going to have quarterback counter going to the right side, and watch all the blockers he's got out in front. There's Nate Herbig. He's kicking out the force player. Nice block from Jordan Mailata up at the second level. You've got Carson Wentz out in the perimeter blocking Marcus Peters, and now you've got Jalen Hurts going 20 yards for a first down, the first down of the game for this Eagles offense. A little bit later, once again, you've got Jalen Hurts in the shotgun next to Miles Sanders. This time it's going to be QB power read. Look at him reading the right defensive end. This is going to be a really long mesh point. You get a good double team on the play side from Driscoll and Jamon Brown. Nate Herbig pulling from the backside. Jalen Hurts is just going to play off of that block from Herbig, and he picks up 3 yards on 3rd and 2. So they get another first down there from Jalen Hurts in the run game. Soon afterwards, you're going to have Carson Wentz lined up wide. You got Jalen Hurts in the backfield in an empty set. There's going to be a little bit of a double pass where he's going to throw this back to Carson. Carson throws this back over to Jalen Hurts. He's got a caveat of blockers out in front. Pernell McPhee just made a great play of recognizing this and kind of getting outside to keep this from really going out the back door. But really nice play design there from the Eagles. The Patriots actually ran the same exact play on Sunday using a couple of receivers. The Eagles doing it with 2 quarterbacks on the field. Anytime you've got Jalen Hurts in an empty set, Eagles with an unbalanced look there. Richard Rodgers lined up at left tackle. Same thing that we saw from him when he caught that 20-yard pass from Hurts last week against Pittsburgh. This time the pass goes in the direction of Jalen Hurts himself, and he goes for a couple of yards there on the trick play. Now, just a little bit later, once again, we're going to see Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts in the backfield this time together, side by side. We've seen this at times from other teams around the NFL. Carson Wentz just going to take the snap. He's going to go play action fake off of Jalen Hurts. He's going to throw the quick screen to Travis Fulgham on the right side. So, again, we're seeing Jalen Hurts as a passer, as a runner, as a receiver. His role continues to expand in this Eagles offense. So we talk about all the different ways he's been used, and I mentioned one of them was as a decoy. We saw that really a little bit earlier, right? But one of the big plays that he was a decoy on was that touchdown, which was a run from Miles Sanders, fumbled into the end zone, recovered by J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Let's take a look at what helped that play get off the ground. Let's take a look at this 81-yard touchdown from the Eagles offense, and it's going to start with this motion from Jalen Hurts in the backfield. You're going to see orbit motion off split zone action from the Eagles. Zach Ertz coming across the formation, just simple zone blocking for Miles Sanders. But that motion from Jalen Hurts is going to help set up some advantageous blocks for the Eagles offensive line, namely for Jason Kelce, who is just in straight search and destroy mode, gets his man to the ground. He blocks the safety. Then you've got J.J. Arcega-Whiteside coming from the backside. I remember him making a play just like this at Stanford on the backside of runs for guys like Christian McCaffrey and for Bryce Love. J.J. is able to jump on the football after the block from the backside, 80-plus yards downfield. Outstanding job from those guys on that play. It was a great job from Miles Sanders on this play as well, is because after that orbit motion from Jalen Hurts, again, you've got the split zone action. He's just going to read the zone blocking ahead of him. He sees a bunch of white jerseys, and he's just going to run to daylight. He's going to play off those blocks from the offensive lineman out in front, and he's going to take off down the left sideline. Outstanding speed and burst from Miles Sanders as he picks his way through the garbage at the line of scrimmage, takes off for daylight. And again, just a great effort from Arcega-Whiteside on the backside of this play, pounces on the football in the end zone, comes away with his first touchdown of the season. So Arcega-Whiteside, obviously outstanding job on the backside on that play, and ends up getting the touchdown there at the end. He was also a big part of the 2-point conversions that the Eagles were able to convert in this game. Let's take a look at 2 of those right now. Let's take a look at a couple of the 2-point conversion plays for this Eagles offense. First one comes out of 11 personnel, 3 receivers on the field, and the 2 key players, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Greg Ward, as J.J. is basically going to set a little bit of a pick here, a little bit of a rub concept for the Eagles down on the goal line in this 2-point play conversion, and you're going to see Greg Ward play off that rub route, perfectly legal because it's within a yard of the line of scrimmage. Carson Wentz hits Greg Ward at the pylon,
for the score. So the Eagles convert 2 on that one. A little bit later, you're going to see another one. Once again, 11 personnel, 3 receivers on the field. This time, you're going to see J.J. Arcega-Whiteside lined up to the right side, and he's going to come in short motion, tight to the formation, and work upfield. The Eagles have been running this concept to the post all day. They ran that route 4 or 5 different times. This time, he's going to fake going to the post, break back to the corner. Carson Wentz hits him wide open, and that's why he was wide open, because the Eagles had shown Marcus Peters that numerous times in the day. Arcega-Whiteside able to come up with the conversion.
I know there was a lot of talk about two-point conversion plays and whether to go for it or not go for it. Fact of the matter is the Eagles are not in position to tie that game at the end if you don't make those two-point conversion plays. You're in the same position as you would have been if you were going for extra points throughout. So the Eagles able to convert in those instances, obviously not in the final one. Doug Peterson had talked really multiple times on Monday in his post-day press conference about that final play, which, you know, a lot of different factors at play as to why that one didn't work. Make sure you listen to the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast with myself and Greg Cosell. We'll talk through that play and all the rest of these plays that we're covering today in this breakdown. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is going to be the play of Travis Fulgham, who continues to stand out. His 3rd straight week with a touchdown, the first Eagle to do that since 2004. Terrell Owens, who started his career here in Philadelphia with 3 touchdowns in 3 games. Travis Fulgham did it against San Francisco. He did it against Pittsburgh. Did it this week once again against Baltimore. Let's take a look at that touchdown.
Let's take a look at Travis Fulgham's touchdown grab, his 3rd in 3 games. First Eagle to do that since 2004, Terrell Owens. We're going to see it's 4th and 9. Travis Fulgham at the bottom of the screen is the X receiver. And you're going to see basically him run a deep post route against cover 0. Baltimore, the biggest cover 0 blitz team in the NFL. Carson Wentz knows that they're not going to be able to block everybody that comes on this Baltimore rush. He kind of throws this up off his back foot to Fulgham, lets his guy go get it. And Fulgham comes up with the touchdown grab in the back of the end zone. Really awesome stuff there from Travis Fulgham, who climbs up to the highest point, attacks this football, plays above the rim, and comes down with it. Carson, again, making this throw with 3 Baltimore defenders in his face, turns into a touchdown for the Eagles.
So Carson Wentz able to get the ball out there against the cover 0 blitz, and he was blitzed a ton in this game against the most blitz-happy defense in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens. 2nd week in a row, he's faced a unit like that. And Carson, honestly, he just got pummeled in this game on Sunday. Obviously, a lot of moving parts against this defense as well. But, you know, the Baltimore defense, they were sending corners, safeties, nickel players. They were sending everybody after Carson Wentz. And I think when you look at his toughness, his resiliency in this game, really stood out to me. And really, above all else, you saw the hits they took as a quarterback, in the pocket, throwing the football. He was sacked, I think, 6 times in this game. We saw him as a blocker for Jalen Hurts on one of those plays earlier. But then also, you look at him as a runner. This run here, this 40-yarder, really just kind of put an exclamation point on this day for me watching Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz made some outstanding throws in this game, but this 40-yard run in the 4th quarter really it kind of sticks with me, because you see what the hits that he took in this game, the shots that he took as a passer. You see, a 2nd and long, he sees a crease, and he's going to take off and run. Good effort from Boston Scott, the receivers blocking downfield. But look at Carson Wentz here. You get one stiff arm. He gets to the sideline. He could step out of bounds. He's going to finish this run, throws another stiff arm here, and finishes out of bounds. Just an awesome run by Carson Wentz when his team needed him most. Down 2 touchdowns. He's trying to claw his way back into this game. You just love the effort. You love the toughness. It shows up in so many different ways. And just see the visual of the sideline here. The defensive guys jumping off the bench at the end of this run. You kind of see the impact this can have on his teammates. Carson really showed up in this game.
You saw the players on the sideline just getting so excited watching Carson Wentz on that play, just because he showed that toughness and that grit that I think a lot of people hope to have with their franchise quarterback. Just an unreal performance by Carson Wentz, considering all the things around him, with all the backups playing, with all the injuries that this team has suffered. Really something else there from number 11 in this matchup against Baltimore. Look, I think when you look at the injuries, right, obviously that means a lot of young players are going to play. And Doug Peterson talked on Monday about how they're starting to see those young guys every single week. They're making plays. They're going to make mistakes. When you're playing rookies and second-year players, inexperienced players, those guys are going to make mistakes. It's how they rebound from those mistakes. And really, no other easier case for that in this one than John Hightower, and here's an example of why.
Plenty of examples of seeing young rookie wide receivers having to grow up mid-season, mid-game on a week-to-week basis. Really good example here with John Hightower. Early on, first third down of the game, it's third and long. Double move, beats Marcus Peters clean. He is wide open down the field, and this ball perfectly thrown from Carson Wentz goes right through Hightower's hands. Would have been a huge play. Does he go in the tank after that? No, absolutely not. Later in the game, you're going to see Hightower once again, this time brought in jet motion, and a little bit of a takeoff route right at the snap. He takes off down the left sideline. The Baltimore secondary is caught sleeping. Hightower's wide open for a big play, 50 yards down the field, holds onto the football after the Humphrey punch, comes up with a big play and a first down. You love seeing Hightower bounce back after that early drop.
So while some young players are kind of making mistakes on the fly and learning from them and bouncing back, which is certainly good to see, I think another example of that is Jordan Mailata at left tackle, making his third start, not just in the NFL, but playing football. I'll never get tired of saying that. It's just a crazy story. But I think when you look at Jordan Mailata against the last three games, he's done a very nice job. And while he has made some mental errors, he has never looked completely physically out of place. And it seems like every week there's like one or two plays that just really kind of take me back and say, like, man, like this guy is just a physical marvel. And this one, to me, a negative play for the Eagles. It was a fumble by Carson Wentz in the first half. But just look at Jordan Mailata and what he's able to do after the play.
It feels like every week there's a play for me to get excited about with Jordan Mailata. And here it happens to be on a negative play. This is the fumble by Carson Wentz along the left side. You see the ball on the ground. But watch Jordan Mailata come from the right side of our screen. Perfect form tackle. Not only that, we talk all broadcast about the Marlon Humphrey punch, getting the ball out on the ground. Look at him get the ball on the ground and then finish the action at the end. The defender's trying to get back up. He's saying, no, sit back down, young fella. Gets him back down on the ground. Jordan Mailata, the physicality, the toughness really showed up in this game a number of times. He had a couple of pancakes, but this tackle in the open field just really got me going.
All right, so let's go over to the defensive side now. And just a couple of takeaways here for me. Obviously, the third down defense in the first half wasn't great. The Eagles defense gave up three third and long conversions in this game that kept the Ravens offense on the field and allowed them to score 2 touchdowns on those 2 drives. They really turned things around in the second half. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But one player that really stood out to me, I thought, in this game was Alex Singleton. The linebackers were going to be put in a really tough spot against the most creative run game in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, one of the most electrifying players in the entire NFL, obviously the reigning MVP, everything that he brings to the table. But that scheme is very, very tough for guys at the second and third level, especially the linebacker position. I thought Singleton, while he was out of place on a couple of plays here and there, I thought overall he really showed up with his aggressiveness coming downhill. Here's a couple of examples.
One guy who really stood out on film study was linebacker Alex Singleton, who's done a nice job over the last couple of weeks as well. But in this game, I thought he really did some nice things. He was out of position once or twice, but watch him here slip the block from the pulling guard on this power run play. Does a nice job attacking downhill, avoiding the block, and then making the stop. Really nice job. This was my favorite play of Singleton on the day. And I thought he had a really nice afternoon against a very tough Baltimore run game because of all the things that they do with all of their backfield actions and motions. And I think here, you watch another one. This is an example of Singleton just attacking downhill. He gets a little bit of an assist here from Brandon Graham, who does a nice job impacting the tight end, but since he was so fast to see it and trigger downhill, he put himself in position to be able to make this play at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, his teammates get in there at the end. Really nice job there from Singleton. And then again, talk about the creative run game from Baltimore. You get a little bit of a lead draw play where you're going to fake the pump screen out to Marquise Brown, and now you're going to get an offensive lineman with a good angle, good leverage on this block, but Singleton is able to defeat it, get downhill, joins in on his teammates here on the tackle attempt at the line of scrimmage. I thought Singleton did some nice things in this game against Baltimore.
Let's quickly just go to the defensive line. I thought one of the things we saw from Baltimore was their use of trap plays and wham plays. And those are typically the kinds of schemes that you would see against a defense like the Eagles, where their defensive linemen like to attack upfield because you're trying to prey on that aggressiveness. If they're going to attack upfield, you wait for them to get there and then you block them. You get your offensive linemen up to the second level. So you're going to see traps or you're going to see whams. And the Eagles saw a couple of them on Sunday. The defensive line more than ready. Really good stuff here from Fletcher Cox and Malik Jackson.
Because of the way they play, the Eagles constantly see traps and whams. So watch Fletcher Cox and Malik Jackson. They put on a clinic yesterday showing how to defeat these kinds of blocks. First, the trap play. You're going to get Malik Jackson firing upfield. You got a trapper coming to get Fletcher Cox. But because Malik Jackson was so fast upfield, that changed the path of the running back. Watch him. He's going to put his foot lateral instead of just hitting this downhill. That allows Fletcher Cox, who squeezed this play, gets into the backfield. Both guys kind of collide the running back and make the play behind the line of scrimmage. Both great job by both Fletcher Cox and Malik Jackson there. Then a little bit later, similar kind of play. This time, it's going to be Malik Jackson getting whammed by fullback Patrick Ricard. He's so fast into the backfield, and he feels this. He's going to dip that shoulder, reduce the surface area for the block, put his foot in the ground, and get lateral. Makes this play behind the line. Just an awesome job. Alex Singleton in there to finish it up as well. Fletcher Cox, Malik Jackson put on a clinic.
Well, great stuff there from Fletcher Cox and Malik Jackson, and one other defensive lineman that I wanted to spotlight here, because I thought Brandon Graham played a hell of a game. Fletcher Cox was very good. Derek Barnett showed up multiple times, but Josh Sweat continues to flash. And in this game, we didn't see a sack from Sweat, but I thought that we saw numerous plays in the run game, and also a couple of nice rushes as well. Here's a couple of examples of that.
Continue to be impressed by defensive end Josh Sweat here in his third year. Watch him here off the right side. This is going to be in the run game. A little bit of a G sweep coming out his direction. You watch the left guard pulling out to block Sweat. He does a nice job squeezing this down, attacking the block with good hat and hand placement. He's got his eyes on the football, stacks and sheds the offensive lineman, gets off this block, makes the play behind the line of scrimmage. Awesome TFL there from Josh Sweat early in the game. Now let's take a look at one of his pass rush moves. This is going to be on third down. He's going to go with a really nice stab, slap, rip. So you get the stab with the inside arm, attack the chest of the offensive tackle, then you're going to slap that outside hand away and then rip through contact with that inside arm. Does a nice job getting violent there through the top of the block. You see the flexibility, and then he attacks the throwing arm. Comes about a half second away from getting a sack fumble. Fletcher Cox with the pass break up there, but really nice pass rush move from Josh Sweat. And then one final play, once again in the run game, you're going to see him here squeeze this play down. You're going to get a backside puller coming in his direction. He understands what's about to happen. He's able to dip this block, get into the backfield, make the TFL. Josh Sweat continuing to make strides each and every week. Really fun just watching his development over the course of the last couple of years.
So the last thing I wanted to cover here on this breakdown, it's just a topic that we've talked about really on the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast, as well as on Eagles Game Plan. Ike Reese, I thought, brought some really good analysis to the table this week when talking about trying to defend Lamar Jackson. He compared it to how the Eagles were able to defend Michael Vick in his heyday in Atlanta. You go back to like the 2004 championship game, some of the other playoff battles between those two teams, and it was all about what Jim Johnson wanted to do against Michael Vick. You wanted to blitz him from his throwing side, force him outside the pocket where you would have contain on the opposite side. So basically, he's running right into your contain player. And that's, I thought we saw, it obviously wasn't the same thing, but I thought we saw the Eagles defensive line do a nice job with contain against Lamar Jackson. All the yardage that he got on the ground was more on design runs and read option. Those were things that they still have to correct, but that was an expected part of the Baltimore run game. When it came to Lamar Jackson as a scrambler, I thought the defensive line did a really nice job of kind of keeping him bottled up. That's not just a defensive line thing, though, because the secondary has got to match up in coverage, make sure that they plaster those wide receivers. It wasn't just one play or two plays. It happened a bunch of times in this game where Lamar Jackson, whether he was from the pocket or on the move, had nowhere to go with the football. He had to throw it away or take a sack. Here's 3 of those sacks here. Really nice job overall team defense.
Baltimore loves to attack down the field with their passing concepts, and you're going to see the Eagles. They do a nice job. 3 sacks here with tight coverage on the back end. Watch here. You've got Darius Slay vertically, Rodney McLeod. You see Sean Bradley hunting up a crosser, Alex Singleton controlling the flat. All these guys are plastering, nowhere to go for Lamar Jackson. He ends up taking this for a sack. Another one later in the game. Man-to-man coverage. You've got Rodney McLeod as a robber in the middle of the field. Lamar Jackson drops back. You see straight man-to-man coverage across the board. Who are the guys that come up here with this play? You see Darius Slay, Cravon LeBlanc. You got Nickel Roby-Coleman on the backside. Will Parks does a good job of hunting up. Malik Jackson able to attack this outside in, get Lamar Jackson to the ground for a sack. Really athletic play there by Malik. And then you're going to see another play-action play, 3-level stretch, bootleg action to the left side. And you're going to see these guys lock it down again. Nickel Roby-Coleman. Nate Gary does a good job hunting this play up. Rodney McLeod coming from depth. Jalen Mills guarding the flat. Ends up in another sack this time for Brandon Graham. The Eagles secondary really showed up in this game.
So that'll do it for this breakdown. Again, we're going to talk all about these plays over on the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast, fueled by Gatorade. Myself, Greg Cosell. You can, now that you've got the video for these plays, you can go kind of watch along and listen to Greg and I, and you can watch exactly what we're talking about. Look, a disappointing game for sure. Anytime you come up with an L, it's not the outcome that you were hoping for. But overall, I thought we saw some really good fights, some really good resiliency from this football team going into a stretch of games. Now the wins are going to need to start piling up for this team if they want to get to the playoffs, right? Because you've got 3 division games in 3 weeks coming up against the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles have to be starting to heat up and get some of these wins to try and get ready to make a run here in the second half. We'll be talking all about it, not just on the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast, but as well on Eagles Game Plan. Make sure you tune in on a short week. We've got Thursday Night Football this week against the Giants, so make sure you're tuned in right here on PhiladelphiaEagles.com and namely right here on the Eagles YouTube page.